No price talk and no Lambos. This is not another crypto podcast. Welcome to Ignition. I'm your host, Jillian, and each week we will be looking at the problems solved by blockchain. I'll be going deep with the people building the apps and communities which are changing the world around us. Good morning and welcome to Ignition, EOS Dublin's podcast. And with me today is Neb Zelenovich. Have I got that right, Neb?
Yes, that's right.
Excellent. Ooh, I've been practicing that. My name is Jillian, and I have the great honor to speak with people in the EOS world and to find out what they're doing. So Neb, you have this most amazing project. It's called Infiniverse. And would you remind me of 21 years ago, I had my first godchild. A friend had a baby. And I thought, what can I buy her? Because the parents were very rich. They were very successful. I thought, this child is going to have everything she wants. You know, what can I get her as a godmother? So this is like 21 years ago. You got to appreciate this. So I went and I bought 12 acres on the moon. There was a little website and this is 21 years ago. But what you're creating here is, oh my goodness, it's amazing. So just tell me a little bit about your project, what it is.
Sure. So Infiniverse is an augmented reality platform which allows us to create a virtual world on top of the real world. So the problem is that, we have some great augmented reality apps, some that have been extremely popular, like Pokemon Go, but the world is too large as we see it, and we don't want to limit ourselves to just one augmented reality app or game or theme at a time. So instead, we're creating this digital world on top of the real world where there's digital content all around us and it's all user created. So there's this big mix of different themes. It can be anything, whatever our users can imagine. And all this different diverse content can coexist and interact together.
And how do you say in your website, it's the world's digital layer. So you have a digital land registry. So does that mean that there's a limited amount of land available in the virtual world, or can lands be built on top of lands, if you like?
So in Infiniverse, there's a limited amount available, because there's essentially only one world. So there's only one layer on top of the real world. So, because real world space is a scarce resource, and we can't allow people to just place whatever they want, wherever they want, because then very quickly everything would become just this big mess of overlapping digital content. So people actually need to register land in order to place persistent content in that location.
Wow. And do they have to purchase the land? Is that how it works? Is it just registering or?
Yes, exactly. So it works similar to a domain registration system in that there's a yearly registration fee. And this is to avoid hoarding of land, so that people are actually using this. And then once they've registered it, they can trade it to other users, they can sell it to other users, or they could even rent it to other users for a fixed duration.
Wow. And anybody can come along and use your platform and register land. Does the size of the land, is there a corresponding fee? If I want to take over the size of Australia, for example, that'd be... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we use Infinicoin, which is our virtual currency, which is used for registering land and transacting on the Infiniverse marketplace. So the registration fee of land is dependent on the amount of square meters that you select, essentially. Wow. And then you say in your website that people can create businesses. I see lots of dinosaurs on your website, but what kind of businesses do you envisage people creating on their digital land?
So we can start from simple things. You could place stuff on your land that you have to pay some kind of small microtransaction to unlock. So, you could place some sort of little experience that's really cool and interesting, but to see the full thing, you have to unlock it by paying a small fee. And then we can build on top of that. We could even create like a digital web shop. So, in places where there's a lot of people walking around, where there could be a lot of potential Infiniverse users in the centers of big cities, you could buy some land there and place like a digital stall where you sell your digital products there, even interface with your real products in some way.
Because, obviously there's a huge business in terms of like digital assets where people are gaming and they buy all their, they have their avatar, but they buy digital clothes or colors or weapons, whatever. And that's a huge multi-million, trillion-dollar marketplace. So this is the same way. It's the same thinking that you could buy and sell digital assets. And am I right in saying that the beauty of it is using the blockchain to make sure that they are actually unique? They're like non-fungible assets. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that's a part of it. The other big benefit we see from using the blockchain and decentralized technologies is that there have been some virtual worlds and games that after a while they were no longer profitable for the company that made them. But despite that, they still had a couple of million people using them. But the company shut them down. And the way we're building this, all the state of the world, all of the ownership of assets and all the content will be decentralized. So even if something happened to our team someday, the world will be able to live on as long as the users want it to.
And that's a huge thing. It's a game changer, because I've interviewed other people in this space, and they said before, like, you're right, gaming companies can create a world, but if they go bust or whatever, run out of money, once they stop, all your assets are gone. But if it's decentralized, it's quite exciting, because it means that the company no longer, and it makes sense, because you as a player or as a property buyer, you've bought that asset. You should own it, not the gaming company. So this decentralized aspect means that the game will live on in perpetuity. Can't even say it. Forever.
Yeah. In perpetuity, exactly.
That's the word. Thank you so much. I'm stumbling over it. So how long have you been, tell me a little bit about you, Neb. How long have you been in this industry? Did you come from an AR background or a blockchain background, or tell me about you?
So I come from an AR background. I've been in augmented reality my whole career, actually. So I started at a company called Meta in Silicon Valley in California. I was there for almost 3 years. So we were building augmented reality glasses there. And since then, I've been a freelancer. I've done augmented reality projects for companies like Microsoft, Airbus, and Verizon. And more recently, about a year ago, I started working on Infiniverse.
And are you a founder of this project?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And the actual idea, so it came from your background with your augmented reality and obviously marrying blockchain. So you have the decentralized aspect. How many, were you the sole inventor of this, or do you have some other co-inventors, co-founders?
I'm basically the sole inventor. I have another couple of guys that have gotten on board recently, but in the initial stages, in terms of the idea, and that was mine.
That was your idea. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And tell me, how far along the track are you? Is it built? You're building? Where are you?
Yeah, so we have a private alpha right now, and we're testing and improving. And in Q4 this year, we're going to launch the public beta. So in this version, you'll be able to buy land, and you'll be able to place 3D models on your land. And at the same time, we're going to airdrop Infinicoin to EOS holders.
Excellent. And tell me, how are you funded? How have you bootstrapped this? Have you got angel investors? What have you done?
So it's been mostly bootstrapped so far. We have a collaboration that we made with Samsung Next. So they're a Samsung subsidiary. They do some startup partnerships and collaborations and investments. So we worked on a project with them that we helped them with, and we would work directly with them for 3 months, and we received $50,000 for our efforts and a perpetual license to the AR cloud that we helped them build. So it's a service that they're releasing for AR apps that we're going to use as well, and we help them build that basically.
Excellent. And then tell me, you're saying you're going to release the coins to EOS holders. Why EOS? Why not, something else? What drew you to EOS?
Well, this is very much a real-time app. So, you go out, you see some land you want to buy, or you see some cool experience that you need to interact with, and you need immediate feedback. You're not going to sit around there waiting for a few minutes for that transaction to be confirmed on Ethereum or other blockchains that take a few minutes to confirm their transactions. So that's really the main motivator. And then there's something that I heard EOS CTO Dan Larimer say, which is that with EOS, the end user shouldn't even have to know that they're using a blockchain. And that very much matches our philosophy, because if Infiniverse is only for crypto and blockchain enthusiasts, Infiniverse will be a failed project, basically.
Yes.
So we want to open this up to basically anyone who can use a smartphone. That's how simple it should be to use. And EOS isn't quite there yet, but I think it's going to get there.
Mhm. I think it's a very valid point, because I have an old laptop that I have yet to get rid of, because it has all my, my passwords, and it's easy, it's handy, and it has served me well, but it's so slow now. That blue wall of circle of death comes up, and you go, oh, come on, open application. And only that I'm so fond of my laptop, I haven't chucked it out the window. But you're right. If someone's playing a game and having an experience, you're not going to wait around for that. Seconds are important in this world.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then also, what has been some of the hardest things then that you found, in your role so far? Because you have the alpha going, and sorry, and when is the beta being launched?
In Q4. So
Q4. Okay, so soon enough.
Yeah.
Q4 is next month, isn't it?
A couple months. Yeah.
And who can register or log on? Anybody? It'd be an open beta or closed?
Anybody. Yeah, anybody with an EOS account.
Okay. And what's been the hardest bit so far? I mean, I love the idea. I really hope it works, because I just think the idea is so clever. You think about, there's a limited amount of assets in this world, obviously. And then the thought that you can actually get out there and build a layer on top and have fun business, it's amazing. So how are you going to push for mass adoption? Is it, things like coming on the podcast here, or how do you see yourself getting the word out there?
Yeah, basically most people, when they hear about it, when they kind of look more into us, check it out, they're pretty excited about it. They like it a lot. So yeah, we get great feedback by those who take the time to check us out. So it's just getting the word out there, going on podcasts and interviews. And, when the beta is out and people can actually check it out, I really hope people will, be coming on and then showing their friends and getting more and more people involved. Because at the end of the day, we're not building the world. We're building the platform that allows the world to be created, but all of the content is created by the users.
Yeah. So will you have people like monitoring it, or, the police? Will the police be there or something, if something is disturbing or criminal, or, how will you monitor?
Yeah. So, obviously we don't want to allow anything illegal or, abusive.
Mm-hmm. So you'll have moderators of some kind.
Yeah. So initially, before it's fully decentralized, we'll have control. And when someone reports something, we'll be able to take it down pretty quickly. But in the long term, we would like to have a system of moderators that basically Infinity Coin holders can elect moderators, and they would be taking that job. So.
Okay. So and it'll be, if it's distributed, if it's the actual community doing it, you'd expect better, because obviously the big problem, or the biggest complaints against things like Facebook, is that they leave up horrendous stuff and then take down maybe a woman breastfeeding, a picture, it's something innocent and natural, and then they leave up horrendous stuff, hate crimes and abuse and violence and animal cruelty stuff, whatever. So you would imagine if it's a decentralized community, it'll be more responsive than just one centralized entity.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty hot topic at the moment, that kind of stuff, and there is a fine line between abuse and freedom of speech. So we have to find the place where we're not allowing things on the platform which basically will detract more potential users than attract.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. And how important is the EOS community to you then?
Yeah, very important, because we're using the EOS blockchain. So EOS, you need an EOS account in order to use Infiniverse, and therefore obviously very important for us that the EOS blockchain, the EOS community gets bigger and bigger, so that our potential user base gets bigger and bigger.
And what's been the hardest thing on your journey so far? Is it funding, getting the right software developers, the ideas?
Funding is pretty tough. We're kind of at this intersection of two emerging technologies. So on the one hand, you have kind of augmented reality investors, and I think they're a bit afraid when they hear, blockchain and cryptocurrency. And then you have blockchain investors that are often more looking for pure blockchain projects. So we're in this kind of weird middle place. So yeah, funding's definitely been tough. And then other than that, it's just a technically demanding project. So there's a lot of technical challenges to overcome in order to get it to reach, our vision. And a lot of that is still ongoing. And a lot of that we depend on basically, other companies like Google and Apple that are basically pouring billions of dollars into creating these amazing augmented reality technologies.
It's because it can't be clunky. I remember back around the same time that I was buying those acres on the moon for my goddaughter, I was also playing the first games, PC games, like, what were they? Space or Larry the Lounge Suit Lizard. I mean, like, talk about clunky. It would be a screen, and you'd move the cursor, and you'd click on something, and something would open. You go, oh my God, it's so amazing. This is 21 years ago. So, of course, nowadays people expect very sophisticated architecture and experience. You have to be at the top of your game to succeed in this area, and that's a challenge for you, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, so definitely in early days of augmented reality, the apps aren't going to feel as sleek as just a regular phone app. So that's something that's really going to be built on over the next couple of years.
What's been the easiest part of your journey so far? What surprised you that that was pretty cool? Is there anything that jumped out at you that you went, wow, that was easy?
Well, I think integration with the EOS blockchain was pretty easy.
Wow, that's positive.
Obviously, there are some challenges with the ecosystem, like the having to buy all the RAM to do an airdrop and all that. But just in terms of the actual programming and connecting it to the app, I think that really wasn't too difficult at all.
That's very positive. Yeah. So, have you got any advice you would give to other EOS or blockchain or AR developers? What do you think?
Yeah. So once you have your idea and you know how to present it to people, just try to get it out there as soon as possible, because you might be surprised at how much positive reception you get, because pretty much everyone that has checked us out really likes the project and they can't wait to see it. So, the earlier you get your idea out there, the more people you get excited and it motivates you more. So
perfect.
Really encourage you to do that.
Yeah, very good advice, actually, to get it out there, to not be shy. And I think that kind of reflects this industry anyway, because I was talking with someone else recently. The old fintech, you'd be very, you'd hide all your stuff almost, because it's like, oh, it's my idea and I want to patent it. And now this industry, the blockchain industry in particular, it's more collaborative. So people say, oh, wow, I like that. Let me work with you, as opposed to I want to steal your ideas. So I think that's quite a powerful message. Get your idea out there, socialize it soon, and get feedback from other people. Very good advice. Well, Neb Zelenovich, I'm practicing your name here.
Zelenovich.
From Infiniverse. I think your project is amazing. I thank you very much for your time today, and I wish you every success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.